Oh man, here we go again. Instagram. Here we go again. Another one of these conversations we got to have today. Seeing these things going on, and y'all going to understand why the title is the title. Why the topic is the topic here today. We got some more things to talk about. Honestly, I wish we wouldn't have to even be talking about this shit, but we need to be talking about it. So we're going to address it here today. I'm going to explain. You don't understand what that topic is, you'll get it. If you see my story here today, then you might understand this a little bit, what I'm talking about. But if you didn't see my story, if you have no idea who the hell I am, if you're just watching this because of the title and you're intrigued, what is this guy actually going to say? Good. You're in the right place at the right time. Hope everybody's having a great day. It's been a cloudy, rainy Thursday here in Miami, but it is rainy season. We're all right with that. The grass got to grow. The flowers got to eat. The trees got to grow. So if everybody, as y'all come in on Instagram, you can tell me your name and location in the comment section. Facebook, you can tell me your name and location in the comment section. You can also, Facebook, hit the share button, and you can also hit the like button. You get the share button, share this to your timeline so somebody on your line can get it. IG, y'all can just tap the screen or tell me your name and location in the comment section. We're going to get into this in about 15 seconds. We're getting started. We ain't waiting because y'all been seeing I've been going up to the time limit on these things every day. So I'm introduce myself in 1 second, and then we're getting right into it. So turn your volume up, put your headphones on. If you're in a noisy room and there's people making noise, tell them to shut the hell up so we can get into this conversation. You don't miss anything that I say. Anyone has a question, I will address all questions at the end of this live. Now, for those of y'all who don't know me, my name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day. I'm a former 9-year professional basketball player overseas. I'm the author of 26 books. I've published over 15,000 pieces of content online. I've done 4 TED Talks. I do work as a consultant, coach, keynote speaker, product creator, content creator. I am the CEO and owner of a company by the name of Work on Your Game Incorporated, where I teach through different platforms, through audio, written, spoken word content, and all those other things that I just said. This whole philosophy called Work on Your Game, which is all about taking the mindset necessary to play sports professionally. That means to be in the top 1% of what you do mentally, the mental side of it, and how you apply that to your business, to your life, and to your sport if you happen to be an athlete. One of my 26 books is called Work on Your Game. If you do not own this book, go to workonyourgamebook.com and secure your copy before we run out of trees to print books on. And the other thing that you need to do is understand what Work on Your Game is about. Who is it for? Work on Your Game is for 3 specific types of people. Number 1, the person who feels like you need more game and more skill. If you feel like your game is not where it needs to be, Work on Your Game is for you. It's called Work on Your Game. Number 2, the person who feels like you have game, but for whatever reason you are not performing. You're not showing your game the way that it needs to be shown. So you got a performance issue. That's the second person working your game for. Is the third person. The third person that working your game is for the individual who feels like you have game and you are performing, but for whatever reason you are not being recognized. Nobody's seeing you. You got a marketing issue. So if you have a skill issue, a performance issue, or a marketing issue, Work on Your Game is for you. Now anyway, let's get into the topic that we're going to talk about here today. We got Luis over there on Facebook talking about cops. He's saying something about the cops. Luis, I hope you've been listening to my last 3 lives. I think you might have missed them. So listen to my last 3 lives before you come in here on fire with these comments. But anyway, the topic here today, what we actually going to be talking about is what happened with one Drew Brees. Everybody knows who Drew Brees is. If you got social media, you probably know what happened with Drew Brees over the last 24 hours. I didn't know about this yesterday. At the time that I did my live, it had already begun. And I knew what was going to happen because when I got off my live, I think I checked on Twitter or some platform last night after my live stream, and I saw that Drew Brees he was trending, and I said, all right, here's the 2 things that I knew. I said, number 1, we know what the climate is right now in America, especially on social media. Let's say on social media. And number 2, I know that Drew Brees is white. All right, those are 2 things that I knew, and I automatically knew what happened as soon as I saw his name trending. I said, I already know what happened. This dude then said the wrong thing. I knew it. As soon as I saw his name trending, I said Drew Brees and said something wrong. And he probably didn't actually say anything wrong. He just didn't say enough of the right thing. That's what Drew Brees did wrong. He didn't say enough of the right thing. He didn't say anything that was technically wrong. He just didn't say the right thing. So I went and read what Drew Brees said. For those of y'all who know who Drew Brees is, he's a starting quarterback for the New Orleans Saints. He is a definite Hall of Fame quarterback. He's one of the best players in the history of the NFL, one of the best players in the NFL right now. And obviously being a quarterback, I know the quarterback is the leader on the football team. And honestly, in all of professional sports, quarterback is the most important job in pro sports. Out of all the sports, all the positions, a quarterback of an NFL team is the most important job, is the most coveted job. There's only 30 starting quarterbacks. Drew Brees is one of them. He's been one of the best for a long time. Now, here's what happened. First of all, for people who, Drew Brees in the NFL, he's been with the New Orleans Saints for many years. He was one of the people on the front lines helping rebuild the city of New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina happened. He helped bring a Super Bowl to New Orleans. I believe that was 2010, about 5 years after that. Helped bring a Super Bowl to New Orleans. He's broken some records. I don't follow football that closely, but I know enough of what's going on. He's broken some records. He's in the record books. He's right up there. You got Peyton Manning. You got Tom Brady. You got to talk about Drew Brees. He might be just an inch below them, but he's right up there with those guys. He got a Super Bowl just like those guys have Super Bowls. So this is what happened with Drew Brees. Short story. I'm going to tell you the short version and the long version. The short version is Drew Brees got canceled over the last 24 hours. For those of y'all who don't know, he got canceled. All right, so if you thought Drew Brees existed, he doesn't exist anymore. He was officially canceled by the woke social media militia over the last 24 hours. That's what happened to him. If you don't know, you go look it up on Twitter or search through Instagram. It's easier to search on Twitter. You will see all the gory details of Drew Brees' death. All right, you're gonna go see his dead body on Twitter because it's over for Drew Brees. Now, this is what happened. It's not actually over for him. I'm being sarcastic here, but here's what happened. Drew Brees was on. He was doing some interview with I forget what show he was on, some national show, and they were asking him about this whole situation with George Floyd that happened in Minneapolis. And, a lot of white people are being asked, "What do you think?" And listen, here's the thing, and the reason why this title was the title, because right now, I said this on my story 3 days ago, I said it 2 days ago, I said it yesterday, and I said it again today. Y'all, I said it, I was laughing when I said it, and I'll laugh again when I say it, but I'm not fucking joking. White people in America, your best bet right now is to be quiet, all right? Lay low, don't say nothing, don't give no opinions, all right? Don't make any kind of statement, don't do anything, don't do anything, all right? Just don't even breathe. All right, no, that's a bad analogy right now. All right, just don't do anything. All right, don't do anything right now. And if you're white in America, do not do anything. Dre Baldwin, my father's on the live on Facebook. Don't do anything. All right, if somebody asks you your opinion, if you are white, all right, someone asks you your opinion on what's going on right now, here's what you say. I'm gonna give you your statement. I'm gonna be your lawyer. I'm gonna be your PR person. You say right now, I need to do more listening than talking. And I want to learn what other people are thinking. I want to hear what other people have to say. And then put a period at the end of that sentence and don't say anything else. All right? Do not say anything. Leave no comments. Don't post nothing. Don't do anything. All right? Do I need to say that? And everybody got it? Don't do nothing. All right? Anything you do can and will be held against you. All right? That's what the cops say when you get arrested. Another bad analogy. Anything you say can and will be used against you. Don't say shit. All right, everybody got it? If you're white, please don't act like you didn't hear me say this. Don't say nothing, okay? All that being said, here's what Drew Brees said. Here's why Drew Brees' dead body is on display on social media these days. Drew Brees was on some national interview. And the interview, it was only a clip they got showed. Y'all know how they do on social media. The interview could be an hour long. They take 2 minutes, and they destroy you over that 2 minutes. So this is what happened. Drew Brees was saying some positive stuff about black people and what he needs to do and Black Lives Matter. He was saying all the right stuff. Everything was fine and benign, and no one would ever remember anything that he said until the guy at the end asked him, Drew, what do you think about what all this happened? What do you think about people taking a knee during the national anthem? Now, why this guy even asked this question, I don't know, because the NFL ain't even playing right now. It's the off season. Right now is the summertime. The football don't even start till September. Why was he even asking the question? I think he kind of set Drew Brees up for this, but Drew Brees didn't have to say what he said. He wasn't wrong to say what he said, but he didn't have to say it anyway. But here's what Drew Brees said. Drew Brees said, I'm going to paraphrase, I would never go along with anybody disrespecting the flag by kneeling during the national anthem. That's the paraphrase of what he said. That's what he said. He said, I don't agree with kneeling, and he also said that kneeling is disrespecting the flag. That's all he needed to say, and because of that, Drew Brees is a historical figure now because he no longer exists. He got canceled on social media. What happened after he said that is a whole bunch of black people, prominent, especially a lot of them athletes, because Drew Brees is an athlete, went in on Drew Brees. His own teammates was trashing him. Steven Jackson was trashing him. A bunch of basketball players trashed him. Anybody who was woke, black, and an athlete with a big platform on social media trashed Drew Brees. Ed Reed trashed him. He don't even play no more. He trashed him. Kobe ain't even alive. Kobe was probably trashing him. So a bunch of people was just trashing Drew Brees on social media over the last 24 hours. And as soon as I saw it, I told my girl this yesterday. I swear to God, I told her this. We was laying in bed, and when I saw what Drew Brees said, I said, Drew Brees and said the wrong thing. I said, I guarantee you, within 24 hours, he is going to apologize. And he ain't got no choice but to apologize. He got all this pressure on him. He got all these black teammates. He got all of social media going in on him and destroying him right now because he said, it was like a 30-second clip of what he said. Everything else that he did in his life was completely erased because he made this one statement right here. And if Drew Brees couldn't get away with it, you motherfuckers can't get away with it. So if you are white in America and you are not more famous than Drew Brees, do not say anything. Okay? Just be quiet. Say, I want to listen more than I talk. And period. Let them talk. Listen. All right? Human beings love talking. So if you just be quiet and let other people talk, they will gladly talk to you all day. Case in point. Now, Drew Brees, what he said was, I do not agree with people kneeling and disrespecting the flag. So let's get into these points. First point is this. Here's the first point, right? Whenever you go to a sporting event or some type of conference or any event where the national anthem gets played or sung or performed in some way, here's what happens. What does the PA announcer say? The PA announcer says, and those of y'all don't know me, I'm going to address things objectively. I'm going to put my opinions in there somewhere, but I'm going to let you know when I'm giving it a fact and when I'm giving you an opinion. So a lot of people ain't doing that these days. The PA announcer says, everyone, please stand and remove your hats so we can honor those who have fought for, represented, died for our country. Right? That's what they said. Please stand and remove your hats so we can honor those who have fought for our country. Therefore, if you feel that somebody not standing for the national anthem is disrespectful to the flag, that is logically accurate. That's accurate. It says we're standing and putting our hands on our hearts and taking our hats off so we can honor the people who fought for the country, and you ain't standing up. You're kneeling, you sitting down, you doing something other than just putting your hand over your heart and not drawing attention to yourself. You got a fist in the air. Somebody could look at that and say, yo, you kind of being disrespectful because we're just asking everybody to, let's make the flag the center of attention. Not your fist, not your knee, not you sitting down. Let's just everybody stand down, so to speak, and let's just give honor to the flag so we can honor our veterans and the people who fight for us. I'm not saying that that's how I personally feel. I'm saying I can understand how somebody could feel that way. So if a veteran says, yo, you're disrespecting the flag because you're taking a knee or you're holding up a fist or you're doing anything to draw attention to you when we're supposed to be drawing attention to the flag, I completely understand that. Drew Brees said he had two grandfathers who fought for the country, and I don't know if they died fighting for the country, but anyway, he said whenever that anthem plays, he's thinking about his grandfathers who sacrificed their lives for this country, and he would never disrespect their memory by not honoring the flag and doing what he feels is honoring the flag. And this is something that I said on my podcast on Monday. And this is something that I'll say to everybody here. How you feel is how the fuck you feel. If Drew Brees feels that taking a knee is disrespectful to the flag, that's how the fuck he feels. And he's not wrong for having that opinion, because I just explained to you, logically, there is nothing logically incorrect about calling that disrespect for the flag. Now, if you believe Colin Kaepernick was right to take a knee because that's a good place to get attention and draw attention to this cause that Colin Kaepernick allegedly had, if that's how you feel, that's how the fuck you feel. And if you feel that way and Drew Brees feels this way, that's all right. It's okay for people to have differing points of view until this last week. All right, and unless you're white. If you're white in America and you got a different point of view, don't say anything. Don't express it. All right, do not explain it. Let somebody like me say it, but you don't say nothing. Okay? You can just listen to me. Let me say it for you. Don't say a fucking word. All right, Drew Brees tried to say it. He couldn't get away with it. You ain't getting away with it. It is their right, though. This is my point. It is their right to feel how they feel. Anybody who feels like that's disrespectful, whether it be Donald Trump, Drew Brees, some local dude around the corner who fought in the military, if he feels it's disrespectful, he is disrespectful. And I see a lot of people saying things like, well, my uncle fought in the military and he thinks the knee is okay. Or Colin Kaepernick, it was a military guy who told him taking the knee is the thing that he should do. Well, listen, everybody in the military ain't the same. Everybody in the military ain't got the same opinion. There are some people who fought in the military who said that is super disrespectful what Kaepernick did, and there's some people in the military who said it's okay what Kaepernick did. So citing that you know somebody in the military or that you're from the military and you think this way or that way doesn't mean that everybody else needs to, because a bunch of people in the military don't even agree on whether it's respectful or disrespectful. Point number 2. And we talking here today why white Americans, y'all just got to be quiet for a little while because it's not a good time for you to be talking. Point number 2, Colin Kaepernick started this kneel, right, 4 years ago. Now, why did he start this kneel? I went and looked this up because I haven't heard Colin Kaepernick say a damn thing in a long time. Last time I heard Colin Kaepernick talk was when he was basically telling the NFL, I'm going to do things my way. And the NFL said, okay, see you later. That was the last time I heard Colin Kaepernick talk. So I went and Googled to find out what exactly he said was the purpose of him taking the knee, right? Because I really needed to get reacquainted with why he did it. Because over the last 24 hours, obviously, you got LeBron James, Eric Reed, who's the other guy? Steven Jackson, Ed Reed. What's the dude for the wide receiver for the Saints? Michael Thomas. Everybody else in the NFL. Every woke person in the NFL. Some of them white, many of them black. Trashing Drew Brees because, like, how you gonna say what after what's going on right now and all these things that we're doing, and you acted like you were down for the cause and now you ain't down, and everything you ever done been. Again, Drew Brees was right there on the front line when Katrina happened, helping to rebuild that city, but that doesn't matter anymore because he said he feels kneeling is disrespecting the flag. This is the temperature right now for y'all, everybody in America. This is why you got to be careful, especially if you white right now talking. Colin Kaepernick started this kneel. I went and Googled why did he do it. He said he wanted to bring light to certain topics. He wanted to bring light to the fact that there was bodies in the streets and police brutality and systemic oppression. All right, Colin Kaepernick said, that's the reason I'm taking the knee. I want to start a conversation. That was his phrase. Start a conversation about these things. All right, now what ended up happening is mostly it was a conversation about Colin Kaepernick and disrespecting the flag, right? We know that that's essentially what it became. Now, wasn't his intention, but as the saying goes, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Now, Colin Kaepernick's, his gesture was hijacked from him and made about the flag. Donald Trump started it actually there's probably some people in conservative media who started it and said, hey, he's disrespecting the flag. And then Donald Trump grabbed it and amplified it because he was on the campaign trail. Because this happened right when the election was about to happen in 2016. Trump's on the campaign trail, and he used this masterfully. This is a master stroke by Donald Trump. He took what Kaepernick was doing and said, any of those sons of bitches or assholes, whatever word he said, if they don't want to stand for the anthem, get them the hell off the field. Get them the hell out of here. And a whole bunch of white people who voted for Trump applauded it and said, yeah, you're absolutely right. And that was one of the things, whether you want to admit this or not, that was one of the tactics that helped Donald Trump get elected in 2016. Now, you might not want to admit that. You may not want to hear that. But he used that masterfully to throw fuel on his fire. It was another log on his fire to help him beat Hillary Clinton in 2016. And so in that way, it's not even that indirectly, Colin Kaepernick actually helped Donald Trump win the election in 2016. Now, I'm not saying he's the reason Trump won, but he didn't stop him from winning. Anyway, this whole thing that we're talking about here, he takes this knee, all right, it gets hijacked from him, and now it becomes about the flag. Now, why exactly did this happen? Why did it go from, I'm taking a knee, to protest systemic oppression and this, that, and the third, to he's disrespecting the flag? How did that conversation change in that way? Why did that conversation change? Anybody know why that conversation changed? I'm going to tell you why it changed. It changed because of Colin Kaepernick, who now, over the last 24 hours, everybody's been defending the thing that he started, right? It's because he failed as a leader. Now, again, I'm gonna lay this out for you why he failed as a leader. I'm going to lay it out for you logically, okay? It is my opinion, but I'm going to lay out the logic of why Colin Kaepernick failed as a leader and why it baffles me to hear a bunch of black people who've been around since Kaepernick was doing that. We're going to address them in a minute. They're defending what he started as if he's their leader, but I don't even see dude. I don't see Colin Kaepernick. I ain't heard Colin Kaepernick say a damn thing since last week. But anyway, we're going to get to that in a minute. Where is Colin Kaepernick at? Anybody know? When the heat turned up on the kneeling thing, Colin Kaepernick stopped talking to the media. When he was out of the NFL for years, before he just popped up randomly like, I want to try out with the NFL, I didn't hear Colin Kaepernick say anything. When George Floyd passed away last week, I went to Colin Kaepernick's Twitter because he is famous for not really tweeting anything. He just retweets shit that he agrees with. I suppose that he agrees with, who knows. But he doesn't even really post his own shit. He just retweets a bunch of shit that he agrees with. I went to his Twitter, and it's pretty much the same thing. He doesn't say anything. And here's the problem with that. There's nothing wrong with not talking. I mean, I just opened this by telling all you white people to not talk for a little while. You need to lay low for a minute. But Colin Kaepernick, why him not talking is a problem because he started a cause that a whole bunch of people took up and began to follow. When he took the knee, a whole bunch of people started taking the knee. Remember when that first month when he took the knee, a bunch of people was taking the knee. Then the knee kind of faded out. After that year, the knee faded out. And last season, only a few people were still doing the knee thing. Now, if the whole thing was about systemic oppression and racism and injustice and bodies in the street, well, if none of those things actually changed, first of all, why did people stop taking the knee? I mean, if the knee was about that and it didn't change, why'd you stop? But anyway, that's a different conversation for a different day. He started this. Now, a bunch of people followed him. Now, it looks like, based on what happened to Drew Brees over the last 24 hours, a bunch of people are still on this thing. They still on this, the knee thing is the thing. Drew Brees said, I don't take a knee. It's disrespectful. And a bunch of people ate Drew Brees alive for saying that. So, obviously, a lot of people agree with this taking the knee thing. So, here's my thing. Since he's the one that everybody is following, and you start something and people start following, your job is to lead. Your job is to stand up and say, okay, everybody, y'all want to do this with me? I was doing it myself, but y'all want to do it with me? All right, here's what we're doing. Here's where we're going. Here's the outcome. Here's how we know we're getting there. Here are the steps along the way. And here's what we're going to do next. You going to do this. You go over here. You do that. You do that. That's what a leader does. When you see that people are following something that you started, you got to step up and tell everybody what they got to do. Tell everybody where we're going and be the compass for everybody that decides to follow your lead. Colin Kaepernick abandoned all these people who wanted to follow him. And what baffles me is that people are so staunchly defending him when he just left everybody hanging. Like, nobody knows what we're supposed to do with this whole thing that he started. What are we supposed to be doing? Now, I'm not a person. If I was an athlete or in the NFL, I would not have been kneeling. I would have said, I support you if that's what you believe, but I'm not kneeling because I don't see it that way. And if someone would have asked me in the media, I would have said that, and if they would have attacked me, they would have attacked me, and we would have had to do what we had to do. But I also, at the same time, he started this, and then he disappeared, and now people are still defending him, and these same people, they on the front lines. Stephen Jackson. George Floyd was Stephen Jackson's man, right? He called him his twin. That was Stephen Jackson's friend. I saw a picture of George Floyd on Instagram the other day. I thought it was a picture of Stephen Jackson. Now I looked, that's George Floyd. They kind of look alike, right? Stephen Jackson's man died in Minneapolis. Stephen Jackson was in Minneapolis the next day. I think he's still in Minneapolis. I keep seeing videos of him giving speeches and saying things and doing the things that he's doing. Stephen Jackson stepped up to the front line to champion that cause of what's going on in Minneapolis. When I think about what's going on up there and the people on the side of getting justice for George Floyd's memory, I'm thinking of Stephen Jackson. He's the first name that I think of because he's on the front line telling everybody, this is where we at, this is what we're doing. And when he didn't like what Drew Brees said, he was very outspoken in saying what he said. Not that I agree with what he said and how he said it, but he was on the front line, and I got to respect that because he's owning the cause that he decided to step up for. Colin Kaepernick didn't do that. He did the exact opposite. But all these people are caping up and defending Colin Kaepernick when he abandoned them. That's the part that I just don't get. Leaders got to play the front lines, ladies and gentlemen. This is just the way it works. You can't be a leader and nobody know where you at. Nobody ever sees you. You're never in the office, but you're the leader. That's impossible. You got to be around so people can see you, so people can feel your presence, and people can draw their energy from you. That's what a leader does. Leader's job is to inspire their followers to see their energy. And you can let people know, this is what we're doing, this is where we're going. Colin Kaepernick did none of that. But everybody wants to defend him. And this is another thing that just confuses me. I just don't understand it. But let's move on to point number 3. Let's talk in a more logical way about what Colin Kaepernick did, what he's done, and where he is going up to this point. Now, Colin Kaepernick, he started kneeling in 2016. It's 2020, right? He started kneeling so he can bring change and start a conversation over oppression, racism, bodies in the street. It's been 4 years. Has it changed? I would say by definition, by the fact that people are still in the street protesting, people are still getting mad at Drew Brees for saying what he said, people are attacking white people on social media for not being woke enough and not believing enough that Black Lives Matter. I would say 4 years in, Colin Kaepernick's cause was a failure. Does anybody disagree with me on that? Can somebody tell me that Colin Kaepernick succeeded? Did his cause work? Again, for those of y'all who don't know me, This whole work on your game thing, this is a results-based business. I'm talking about life. When I talk about work on your game, we understand everything we do, you got to perform and you got to produce a result. If you do not produce a result, I don't care if what you did looked good, if it felt good, if you got a whole bunch of people clapping for you, if you did not produce a result, you were not successful. That's just the way that it works. That's the way it works in life. That's the way it works in sports. In sports, we got a scoreboard. Colin Kaepernick named his scoreboard: oppression, racism, bodies in the street. Did he succeed? He did not produce a result. Now, did he get everybody hyped up? Did he get everybody excited? Did he make his name more known now than it was even when he was playing quarterback? Yes, yes, and yes. But did he produce a result based on what he said he was going to do? I believe he did not. And if somebody could tell me that he did, please enumerate exactly what he achieved. I want to know the achievements he achieved. Not how you feel, not what people are talking about. What did he exactly achieve that you can say, okay, he did that and that and that, and we can check those off, done. Because Colin Kaepernick done. What did he actually achieve? I don't think there's anyone listening to me right now who can name one thing he actually achieved based on what he said he was trying to do. And here's the thing. Here's another thing about the whole kneeling situation. Steven Jackson, a bunch of basketball players, y'all seen them, a bunch of football players. It wasn't that many people kneeling. It wasn't that many people kneeling. Now, just this past season, how many NFL players were still taking a knee? How many NFL players were still kneeling during the national anthem this past NFL season? I don't watch the NFL as much as a bunch of y'all. So how many NFL players were kneeling during this past NFL season? I would say maybe like 5, maybe. And I don't even know if it was that many. Malcolm Jenkins, who was on the Eagles, my hometown team, he was doing the black fist, right? I don't know what Eric Reed, he was on Carolina. I think he was on Carolina. I don't know what he was doing. I don't know if he was kneeling, if he was doing something different. I don't know how many people it was that were actually kneeling this past season. Here's the thing. If this past year there was only 5 or fewer people kneeling, but then as soon as Drew Brees said kneeling is disrespectful to the flag, a bunch of people jumped down his throat. Here's my problem with that. How is it that nobody was kneeling? If it's such a great idea, if it's so bad to not kneel, why isn't anybody kneeling? I ain't seen not one NBA player kneel. I never seen LeBron James kneel. I never saw Steven Jackson kneel. Was he in the NBA after 2016? He didn't kneel. Derek Baldwin said he started the conversation. We're going to address that when I get to the end. Nobody else been kneeling. Kneeling kind of faded out. Colin Kaepernick went away. Everybody stopped kneeling. But then as soon as Drew Brees said kneeling is disrespectful, everybody got mad. But none of them was kneeling. Nobody was kneeling this past year. So why are they so mad when Drew Brees says it's disrespectful to the flag? I just don't get that. I don't understand that. I've never seen LeBron James kneel. I've never seen whatever other woke player in the NBA says something bad about Drew Brees. I've never seen none of them kneel. I ain't seen no coaches kneel. So why is everybody defending kneeling all of a sudden when none of them was doing it? I just don't understand that. How is this? How people coming in here trying to, well, you know, when you talk about these topics, you're going to get some people with some problems. That's all right. There's no problem. We still on this third point here. People have been co-signing Cap for years. You clapped for him when he took a knee. You said he did the right thing when he took a knee. When he lost his job, people said he did the right thing. He sacrificed his career. He was blackballed from the NFL. He sacrificed himself so that everybody else could do what they had to do, right? He sacrificed himself like Jesus, like Muhammad Ali, like Malcolm X, like Martin Luther King. He sacrificed himself so everybody else could do the thing that they did. But here's the thing. He didn't achieve anything in his sacrifice, and nobody picked up where he left off and kept doing it. So what I'm trying to understand is, if it was so great what he did, and it was so terrible what happened to him for doing it, why isn't anybody else doing it? And Drew Brees said it's disrespectful. If y'all thought it was so great, why weren't you kneeling last year? I ain't seen no NBA player take a knee yet. You know, NBA I know about. I ain't seen nobody take a knee yet. I ain't seen nobody take a knee. How many NFL players took a knee? I ain't see too many. This is what I'm just trying to figure out. Can somebody tell me? I'm waiting for somebody to tell me how that makes any sense. It just doesn't add up to me. I mean, it sounds good. It looks good and it feels good, but did he produce a result? Again, point number 4. The knee that Colin Kaepernick took, and however you feel about it. The hashtags on social media, the black squares that everybody posted 2 days ago. I posted it myself. They are all, and whatever else you want to talk about, coming in my comments and talking shit because you don't like something that I'm saying. You know what all this represents? They are all symbols. They're all very symbolic. You know what a symbol is? Symbol's like a statue. He's like, I just read that they're going to take down the statue of Robert E. Lee in Virginia, in the state of Virginia. Remember when they had the Charlottesville thing? That was all about the Robert E. Lee statue. They finally taken it down now. And the guy announced, I think it was the governor, announced they taking down that statue. And it's interesting to me, you know, most people who are going to cheer that statue getting torn down couldn't tell me 3 facts about Robert E. Lee. But they need the statue to get torn down. Listen, George Washington had a slave. He on a $1 bill. We going to get rid of $1 bills now? Somebody tell me. Again, I'm just asking the question. I'm not saying whether it's right or wrong. I'm just posing the question. I just want to give y'all some food for thought, some things to think about. All these things are symbols. The knee is a symbol. The hashtag is a symbol. Eating Drew Brees alive on social media is a symbol. When it's all done, when everybody calms down off all this, when all this goes away, and everyone goes back to talking about whatever you was talking about before all this happened, did anything actually change? That's the question that I'm asking. And this is what I've been talking about all week. What is the actual result? What's the actual plan for us trying to actually get somewhere? I mean, it sounds good, it looks good, it feels good, but where is it actually taking us? That's what I want to know. I can't answer the question. And this stuff plays well in the media. Social media, for the most part, is left-leaning. For those of y'all who didn't notice, ESPN, everybody who trashed Drew Brees, ESPN was retweeting it, but they got rid of Jamel Hill for saying Donald Trump was a white supremacist. So which one is it? Why didn't they just let it keep working there? If they're going to be involved, just have somebody working there. Why not? Jamel Hill was perfect. She was all in on this. I went to her timeline today. And look what she was saying. She sounds just like Steven Jackson, the female version. All in on it. Why didn't they keep her? Why did they get rid of her for talking politically? But they in it now. They decided to jump in the game. I just don't understand. And so here's the last thing I'm going to say. Then I'm going to answer questions if there are any. When all this energy has been used up, here's the final question that I want everybody to answer. Or just think about. You ain't got to answer it to me. When all this energy gets used up, everybody gets done trashing Drew Brees and they forget about it and he goes back to playing football. They will forget about it and everybody's going to make up. By the time football season starts, trust me, everybody's going to make up and kiss and hug, guaranteed. Because all this is, for the most part, just a show for social media. This is a show for y'all. They putting on a show for y'all. If you believe it or not, they are. You'll see. If they really believe it, then we won't see Drew Brees no more. Playing with no black person, standing next to no black person. But you will, because this is just a show. This is just TV. Instagram, Twitter, all this shit is TV. All right, this is the new television. It's just acting. When all this is done, and all this energy has been used up, who is in a more empowered position as a result of all the words and all the actions, all the hashtags, all the comments, all the attacks, all the everythings? Who is in a more empowered position than they were 2 weeks ago? Is there anybody right now who's more empowered than they were 2 weeks ago? Or is it just a lot of energy getting used up, but we're not really seeing any actual outcomes? That's the thing that I want you to think about. And I want you to think about that not just when it comes to the race relation things and these things that we laugh about and the hashtags and all this shit, but just period in everything that you do. What is the outcome? Is there a clear outcome that you are working towards? It feels good to work hard and it feels good to get to the end of the day and say, damn, I worked 10 hours a day. I was grinding. But where are you going? What are you actually producing? Where is this taking you? If you can't answer the question, then you need to take a step back from the work and first of all, figure out what the hell you're doing. Because I feel like, I've said this many times, every day I've been saying this, I'm going to keep saying it. Us as black people, especially young black people and people who have any sized platform, where you have people listening to you, especially people who don't know much about our culture, but they're paying attention right now because they're trying to see, like, what are they about? What are we doing? Are we just going at each other? We spend a lot of energy going at each other and going at some white person and getting mad about this and commenting on that and going back and forth with each other. But where is it actually taking us? What's the result that we're producing? There's no answer to the question. Nobody can answer this question. I pose this question every single day since Sunday on this live. Nobody has given me an answer yet. Nobody's even tried to give me an answer. And I'm not saying it to put down any type of people. Listen, I'm black, so I'm not trying to put down anybody. Even if I wasn't black, I don't gain anything by putting any other type of person down. What I'm asking is, where are we going, and who are our leaders that are taking us to this nowhere that we seem to be going to, and why do we keep following them? That's a question that I got to ask to any of y'all who is following any of these people. I don't follow none of them, but the news gets to you if it's big enough news. But why are we following them? They ain't taking us nowhere. How long are you going to follow? Are you going to follow somebody off to the end of the map and fall off the map? I mean, they followed Kaepernick, and they're caping up for him now, but, he didn't do nothing. Not that I see. But now let me address questions after all that being said. And hopefully nothing else happens between today and tomorrow. And tomorrow we can get back to talking about some more work on your game like topics. But I'm gonna address these Facebook comments, and I'm gonna address the Instagram comments if we got time. I'll tell you about some other things. Let's see. Luis asked me about basketball. Go to hoophandbook.com. I got you. Hoophandbook.com, Luis. Derek says he was blackballed from the NFL. They took his platform away, but he started the conversation. Well, I mean, conversations don't produce results. That's the problem. Conversation is cool. Like, we having a conversation right now. But can you lay out a tangible result that comes from the conversation? Purpose of conversations is get everybody on the same page, and there's a communication. So now you know what I'm thinking, I know what you're thinking, everybody knows where we're going, and then now we go do something. That's the purpose of the conversation. We talk about it, we figure it out, everybody's in agreement. Now we go take an action. We make a plan, and we go do it. But there was no plan, there's no action, nothing was done. So starting a conversation is cool. But it took him, it's been 4 years. We still in the conversation stage of this whole situation. We still having conversations. It's 4 years later. How would it take you? Look, if a president gets elected and that's all they do in 4 years is talk, are they going to win the next election? I don't think so. So I get that he started a conversation. They took his platform away. Okay. Well, okay. Let's just say that that's true. I mean, he contributed to it. He had his chance. They gave him a chance. He didn't even want to do the tryout. So that told me, like, this guy don't really want to play. Like, I mean, if you really want to play in the league, you would just do everything they say. You say, yes, sir, Mr. NFL. Get in the league, then say what you want to say. Get in first, then do what you want to do. Don't do it from the outside. How you going to get back in? I don't know. That just didn't add up to me. But again, if any of you got a different opinion, it's all good. Everybody's allowed to have their opinion. Somebody asked me, how long does it usually take for shipping? Shipping of what? I don't know what you're talking about. If you buy something from me, we'll send you an email and tell you when to expect shipping. But trust me, anybody who's ever ordered something from me, they got it. So don't worry, okay? All right, we've processed over 15,000 orders. Nobody ever ordered something and not got it. So don't worry, you'll be all right. I see it. Kobe ain't even alive. He was trashing him, like I said. Very true. N. Simon said, I agree. Everyone's allowed to have an opinion. Yeah, everybody's allowed to have an opinion. But right now, again, if you're white in America, there's not a time to have an opinion. You should kind of chill for right now. Just in your own personal interest. D. Fear said, what order should I read your books? Well, I got 26 books. I don't know which books you're referring to. If you tell me which books you got, then I can give you a better answer. I don't know if you got all 26. CR said he's allowed to have an opinion. CR said I don't know if he's talking to me or talking to somebody else. All right. Fritz said he tweeted on May 28th. Oh, all right. So there's a Colin Kaepernick sighting. He tweeted on May 28th. All right. Shout out to Colin Kaepernick for tweeting. Fritz said, if you look at Colin's Twitter, pinned tweet responded of George Floyd. All right, that's cool. But it's been 4 years since he left the NFL. The dude's been awfully quiet. That's the point that I'm making. All right. It's not that he hasn't posted a single tweet, but he's been awfully quiet. But everybody's following him. Allegedly, it looks like everybody's still following him. So I don't get it. CR, yeah, we had to get rid of her. Supreme says, so apparently Sean King is trying to be our leader with a plan called the Grassroots. Well, I don't know much about Sean King's plan. I haven't seen anything from Sean King. As I said before about Sean King, I'm not sure Sean King is even black. I haven't even heard him say that he's black. Even if he's white. If he's white, it's cool. If a white person got something that could help, and there's a plan, and people and some logical people can look at it and say this plan makes sense, this can actually produce a result, I wouldn't be mad at it. Again, it ain't nothing wrong with being white, but I haven't heard Sean King publicly declare what exactly is he. I believe he's been positioning himself as black, but I haven't heard him come out and say, I am black. I have a black parent. My mom or my dad is black. There are many accounts that say both his parents are white. So I'm just trying to figure out what he is, because if he can't even come clean about where he's from and who he is, then I can't get behind a person like that. I mean, just say who you are. If you're white, you're white. If you're black, you mix, whatever you are, just be clear. I have no idea what that guy is. If somebody knows or got some inside information that I haven't seen, let me know. I will look at it. Fritz says, not always about Trump. Oh, yeah, whoever that was, well, they just trolling. They just looking for something to talk about. We don't have a problem with trolls. Trolls can be easily handled these days, so that ain't nothing to worry about. Miles says, can you explain why you wouldn't kneel if you were in the NFL? Why I would not kneel? Or ask any other 500 players in the NFL right now, because ain't none of them kneeling. Ain't really nothing to explain. I'm standing up for the anthem because it says, could you please stand and remove your hats so we can honor our country and the people who have fought for the country. That's what the request is. The request is stand and remove your hats so we can honor our veterans. That's what they ask you to do. I would say, okay, no problem. I'll stand and remove my hat. Let's honor the veterans, do the national anthem, and now let's play some football. I don't have to explain that. Is if I did something other than that, that's when you got to explain. Ask LeBron James why he don't kneel. They ask the NBA players to do the same thing. Ask Anthony Davis, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, Draymond Green. All these guys are very outspoken individuals. Ain't none of them kneeling. Ask them why they not kneeling. If you really think somebody has to explain it, ask them. CR says, no, those are, CR, you ain't got to respond to trolls, man. This is a waste of energy. Fritz says, I follow Colin on Twitter. He has a structural defense team, and he posted on George Floyd. A structural defense team, it means he's been paying bells for some of the people who have been arrested in the protests. But the problem with people who got arrested in the protests is we don't know who got arrested for doing something they shouldn't have been doing or who got arrested because they were being peaceful and it was just some asshole cops. That's the challenge with bailing out people who got arrested, is that we don't know who got arrested for doing something the right thing, who got arrested for doing the wrong thing. We don't know. So that's a challenge right now. To say that, oh, he's posting bail for people to get out of jail. Again, symbolically, it looks good and it sounds good. And his fans, such as yourself, are going to come out and say, hey, he posted bail for people who went to jail. But he's bailing people out who went to jail for what? The people he bailed out, what they go to jail for? And can you prove it? You probably cannot. You can say that he did that, but again, who is he bailing out? That's the question that you got to ask. And why is he even bailing people out? Why he ain't in jail? Why he ain't on the front lines with everybody else? I mean, he's the leader. This is my point that I'm making. He's wherever he's at, bailing people out from afar, but where is he? Why is he not on the front line with everybody else when everybody else is screaming his name? They all fighting and defending him. Who is he defending? That's the question that I'm asking. If anybody's trying to make an argument that Colin Kaepernick's a leader, is going to fall on deaf ears. The guy did not lead. He disappeared when the heat turned up. That's just the truth of what happened. When the louder the shit got, the more quiet he became. And when he wasn't in the NFL, we did not hear from that man except for a random tweet every now and then. Otherwise, we didn't see him. We didn't hear from him. He didn't get no speeches. He ain't do no video, no nothing. We didn't hear anything from that dude. His girl talked more than him. So please don't try to sell me on Colin Kaepernick being a leader when his woman's speaking more than he is on his behalf. Supreme said Colin focused on his deal with Nike. Well, Nike used him to sell that gear with his face on it when he put that ad out. What was it? Sacrifice. What was it? Stand for something if it means sacrifice and everything. Nike made a nice little bag off those T-shirts. They made a nice bag off those T-shirts. Mozart says they all need paychecks. Taking a knee won't pay the bill. Well, see, that's another thing. I saw Martellus Bennett, who was retired from the NFL. He was a tight end. And he went on, I read his whole thread. He did this whole long thread talking about the NFL, how the NFL is racist and how coaches are racist. And he was saying a lot of incendiary things about the NFL. And I thought to myself two things. First of all, I don't believe, and somebody can check me on this, I don't believe Martellus Bennett was kneeling when he was playing in the NFL. And he played his last year, he was with the Patriots. And I know he wasn't kneeling on the Patriots. He did not kneel when he was in the league. And this was after Kaepernick kneeled. He did not kneel. And number two, all the stuff, all the fire he was spitting on Twitter yesterday about the NFL being racist, he wasn't saying none of that shit when he was getting a check from the NFL. Now, that doesn't mean that he doesn't believe it. It doesn't mean that he's necessarily wrong. Maybe he just got this idea. Maybe he wasn't thinking this 2 years ago when he was in the league. Maybe he just came upon these ideas recently. But it doesn't look like it. He had a lot to say. It sounded like he had been thinking about this for some time. He wasn't saying that shit when he was playing for Bill Belichick and his teammate was Tom Brady. He wasn't saying none of that shit. He wasn't taking no knee, nothing. But now that he's out of the league and he got his whatever he got going on outside the NFL, now he got all these negative things to say about the NFL. Like, yo, you wasn't saying nothing negative when they was paying you, bro. That's just, again, just the facts. Just the facts. And this is what I see people doing. And again, it sounds good, it looks good. You're gonna get retweeted, and you're gonna get a round of applause from your fans. But if we actually look at it objectively, where was all this energy when they was paying you? Where was all this energy when you was on Bill Belichick's team? I ain't hear you say nothing about the NFL being racist. I ain't see you take no knee. So y'all tell me. Supreme said everybody getting canceled and forced to apologize. Yeah, it's a fact. That's why I said at the beginning here, if you white in America, don't say nothing. Just be quiet for a couple weeks. All right, then you're gonna have the whole rest of your life to talk. All right, just be quiet like Chris Tucker in Friday. Like Debo be like, shut the fuck up. Now I'll be quiet. But when he leave, I'll be talking again. All right, y'all just need to be quiet for a little while, just like, what was his name? Like Smokey and Friday. Just be quiet for a little while till Debo goes away. All right, it's in your best personal interest to stay quiet. All right, right now is not a good time for you. Mozart said, Black America needs to work on their game. Well, you got to be specific. Not everybody. Not all of Black America. I've seen a lot of people doing it on social media saying, well, black people this, black people that. We can't generalize all black people. Because as you can see in here, some people who came in here trying to troll me because they didn't like some of the stuff that I'm saying. They were probably black. So we ain't all got the same opinion. So please, everybody, do not generalize black people. See, unless you happen to be black, then you can say that. CR says Black America needs to get our money straightened out, clear leader, and vote on the correct people. Those are some good ideas. I don't think the government is the answer, though. It ain't about voting. I mean, wasn't Obama president for 8 years? All right, people still got problems, so obviously it ain't that. Damien said a lot of people are proposing criminal justice reform, which is gaining traction mostly because so many people speaking out. Do I consider this working towards results? Absolutely. Yes, I do. Michelle Alexander got a book called The New Jim Crow. I read that book like 7 years ago. That was a great book explaining the criminal justice system and the, what they call it, the prison industrial complex. That is a real thing that seems to be angled towards targeting people of color. That absolutely is. But that ain't what people are marching in the streets for right now. They marched in the streets because it got publicized that this black guy died at the hands of a white cop. But if you look at the statistics and the right ratios of those stats, I ain't got to say, y'all know what people be saying. There's an article that I believe the Wall Street Journal put out yesterday about the actual statistics of people dying at the hands of police. Go read the article yourself. Don't let me try to paraphrase it because I'll mess it up. And I need to read it again, matter of fact, so I can really ingest what it said. But yes, that is working towards results. Now, if everybody took the same energy they put in towards whatever we call this is going on right now and put it towards that, what you just mentioned, Damien, that is a tangible plan. But you know why people aren't doing that, Damien, and everybody else who's wondering? Because the prison industrial complex and prison reform is a thing that can produce a result that actually could help the black community. It will take time, it will take discipline, and there's no immediate result. It's not like a bunch of people going to get out of jail tomorrow because everybody decided to talk about that. A hashtag is not going to change that system. It's a long-term plan that requires a long-term strategy and a bunch of disciplined people keeping their emotions in check and acting strategically instead of emotionally. And understand that social media does not promote any of what I just described. That's why you don't see anybody talking about it. But even though there are a few very intelligent people, Damien, like you pointed out, who are on that, but nobody's talking about it because it's not sexy. But it is absolutely a great plan. And there's a guy named DeRay McKesson who's talking about how the power of cops, not just for black people, but for all people, how cops use force and all these things. He was on the Bill Simmons show. I said that yesterday. Go listen to that episode where he was on Bill Simmons. And DeRay is on social media. He's apparently very well known. Ada says, you say hashtags protests in black squares, but you haven't come up with a solution to end police brutality on African Americans. Well, first of all, police brutality on African Americans, again, according to studies that I've read and articles that I've read, is not the actual problem. Police brutality on African Americans is not the problem for African Americans in the United States. If you want to point out one problem for African Americans in the United States, I will bet any amount of money that the prison industrial complex is a bigger problem than police brutality. Now, if you want to argue that, then you should go do some reading. Again, go read the book called The New Jim Crow by Michelle Alexander. It came out 7 years ago. Police brutality is not the problem for black Americans. It is not. It is the thing that gets people hyped. It's the thing that gets people excited. It's the thing that plays well on social media, and it hypes up the sheep, the people who don't read and don't think, and they wait for a famous person to tell them what's important. But it is not the problem. The problem is not that. The problem is we are unorganized, we have no leadership, and we have no strategic direction. I said that yesterday. Police brutality is not your problem. How many times have you been brutalized by a cop? Whoever said that. How many times has a cop actually brutalized you personally? You probably never. But you getting excited about it. It's never even happened to you. You 20 years old, 30, 40, 16, all those years, you've never been brutalized by a cop, but you think that's the problem for black people in America. Makes no sense. CR said, look at history and see what works. Yeah, I don't know about that. Brandon said, the Saints win the Super Bowl. Nobody's going to be talking about Drew Brees in the situation. Yeah, nobody's going to be talking about Drew Brees in the situation when the season starts. When the Saints play their first game, all this shit going to be over. Trust me. Because Drew Brees is the franchise in New Orleans. In case any of them, those black woke dudes on that team don't know, all right, let one of them get out of line when they get together in training camp. All right, Drew Brees ain't going to be the one leaving town. So you'll see. Y'all going to see. All this shit right now, all this energy right now, watch when the season happens and remember what everybody was saying in the last 24 hours and watch when the season happens. Those same dudes, watch what they doing when they get on the field. Trust me. Fritz says, Sean King said before he has a black, light-skinned father. I heard Sean King say, I've never identified as white. That was the phrase that I heard him say. I never heard anybody say that to this. Somebody asked you, what's your race? And they said, well, that's like me saying, I've never identified as Chinese. Like, what are you actually saying, Sean? Are you black? Are you white? Are you mixed? What are you? Just say it. I heard him say that. So maybe you heard him say that too. And that's the whole point. For it, you heard him say that. I heard him say something else. Nobody actually knows. So if this dude's going to stand and be on the front lines for black people, at least be clear about who you are and where you're from. Again, he could be white. He could be white, but just say you white. I don't know what he is. Ali says, you got me dying with the daily. Is Sean King black? Because I really want to know. Is he black? I want to know, where is this dude? I know where everybody else is. I know Colin Kaepernick is mixed. I know Drew Brees is white. I know Steven Jackson is black. Who else is out there? Steph Curry is black. I know I'm black. So I'm just trying to figure out what this dude is. He kind of looks, he's one of those people that you can't quite tell. Sometimes somebody can be super light-skinned, but you can still tell they're black just by their features. Sean King, I can't quite tell. So then when people asked him, he said, I've never identified as white. That's what he said. So I'm just trying to figure him out. If somebody knows something that I don't know, send it to me. I will read it and I will clarify right here on this live. Same way I'm saying it out loud right now, I will say it out loud if I get accurate information. All right, so I'm not a person who's going to trash you loudly and then fix it quietly. If I trash you loudly, I'm gonna shout you out loudly. But I'm not trashing him. I'm just questioning him. And if I get answers to that question, I will share those answers with everybody the same way I'm sharing the question now. Abdi says, interesting perspective. How do you propose as individuals to support our own to help our community? Yes, Abdi, please look at the lives that I have done over the last 4 days and also consult the podcast that I've been putting out for the last 4 years every single day, and also consult the books I've been writing since 2010. You can also consult the YouTube videos I'm putting out since 2006. I've done nothing but give people material to help empower them. That's all I do. Now, this whole philosophy, this whole business that I own is all about giving people material to empower them. This book, I condensed it 250 pages to the best of my philosophy right here in this book, and I wrote 25 other books going into detailed topics on that subject. So that's all I do every single day. Anybody here who's been following me before all this, they know that and they'll tell you. So I appreciate you asking that question, but that is my answer to the question. Let's see. Simon says, statistic on Washington Post. All right, we got like 2 minutes. Statistic on Washington Post, the author is 18 more times likely to be gunned down in line of duty than a black person is to be gunned down. Yeah, well, I heard a lot of different stats. And 8 unarmed African Americans died last year versus 50 officers. Yes, I did see that stat. Simon just posted it. 8 unarmed black people died at the hands of cops, is what he's saying, versus 50 officers who died in the line of duty. Now that, and Candace Owens had a little rant on Periscope yesterday that I saw. It was an interesting rant. I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm also not saying I disagree. I would just say it's interesting. You can go listen to it for yourself and draw your own conclusions. But she said a lot. And she mentioned those things. Supreme J says, a lot of these celebrities are hypocrites. All talk, no action. Well, listen, talk plays well on social media. You got to understand social media is like the new resume. Like if you want to be known and be somebody in this world, you got a big social media following that makes you somebody. It makes people feel like somebody. And on social media, if you give people something that's going to make them think, or you question their beliefs, or something that's going to take a long-term plan, that doesn't get people excited. What gets people excited is race, emotion, hyperbole, getting hype about stuff, trashing people, canceling people. These things work very well on social media. So you have to understand a little bit of Not to say that these people are doing it just to put on a show for social media, but I'm also saying that's not why they're doing it, if you understand what I'm saying. So that's why on social media, I've said this on my podcast many times, and you don't really know who to believe these days when it comes to what you see on the internet. You don't know who to believe. Y'all see pictures, females know how to get the right angles and the right lighting. They can make you believe something's there that's not really there, if you know what I'm saying. And as I've seen in my own life some females who look one way the last time I saw them, then I see them 2 years later, and I'm like, wait, where'd you get all that? Where all that come from? You didn't get that at the gym, if you understand what I'm saying. So what's happening on social media is TV, ladies and gentlemen. It's an entertainment. Excuse me. Entertainment needs to be entertaining. All right, telling people that it's going to take time and discipline and work and strategy, that's not entertaining. All right, that's the kind of shit you get at the library. All right, how many people are at the movie theater on a Friday night versus how many people in the library on a Friday night? That'll tell you exactly why social media is social media. Abdi says, discipline ain't exciting, but it's the cornerstone for success. So you're absolutely right. Well, that's why we got so many people who are not successful, but they spend all day on social media. So, you know that. So everybody, I'll tell you about these 2 books right here. I ain't even got to talk about my books. This is the Mirror Motivation Self-Guide to Self-Discipline. The book is already paid for. You can get this book free. Why do you want this book? Because this book will help you step out of the old you and step into a new you with a brand new energy. And when you create a new energy for yourself and do the same things you were doing before, you will get different results. When you change your energy, you will change your results. You can get this book free. You just take care of the shipping by going to mirrorofmotivation.com. And this book is for anybody who is a basketball player and wants to play pro basketball overseas. It's called the Overseas Basketball Blueprint. Even if you came from a small school, no school, undecorated background, but you feel you had a talent to play overseas, go to balloverseas.com, get the blueprint. The book is free. All you do is take care of the shipping. It's a 237-page book that tells you everything you need to know to play ball overseas. I came from a small school. I made it happen. You can make it happen. That's why I wrote a book to show you how to do it. This is at balloverseas.com. So let me see what else we got. I think I had one more question. Your boy Alex said, I got any books on dating advice? I got a book on dating advice that I didn't put out yet. I do have one, but it ain't out yet. So just stay tuned. I will put that book out. I already got the manuscript. I just haven't put it out yet because I'm working on some other things. But it is coming. I have the manuscript. It's on my computer right now. Joseph says, watching some of your G League vids, they're interesting. Didn't realize how unlikely it was to make it. Well, somebody got to make it, but the way that they set it up, they kind of use y'all open tryout people. They just take that money and go to dinner with it, so to speak. But anyway, if you read this book, Overseas Basketball Blueprint, who was that, Joseph? I'll tell you more about that in here. And I got another book called The Truth About Exposure Camps. I talk about the G League camp in there. So, all right, that's it. Everybody, we're wrapping it up on that. Everybody, I appreciate your time, appreciate your attention. Again, mirrormotivation.com, balloverseas.com. Hopefully we ain't got to talk about this shit no more. I think I've said everything I need to say. I thought I wasn't even going to do this one today, but then I saw Drew Brees get canceled, and I saw his dead body on Twitter this morning, so I had to talk. So I decided to talk about that. We'll see if we got to talk about this again tomorrow, but I do go live every day regardless. Usually it's a more evergreen topic that is under this work on your game philosophy. It is all about getting your mind right, getting your performance up, and getting your results right so you can create the success you want in your life. I always give you a new framework. Those of y'all who've been following me, you know that's what I normally do. But since this happened and everybody was talking about it, I felt like I needed to say something. And I had something of value to say. That's why I said it. Not just because I wanted to say something. Because a lot of people talking ain't got shit to say. So hopefully I have improved on the silence here. If you feel like I didn't, then hey, you do your live and you do it better than me. But everybody, I'm doing these lives every day. Tomorrow I will be live again 5:15 p.m. Eastern unless otherwise noted. Appreciate your time. Have a great night. Stay safe. And if you white, don't say nothing until you get the word from me. Work on your game. Dre all day.